Dear MEIRA members and IR community, thank you very much for joining us today for an interview with Ajit Henry, Senior Director at FTI Consulting. Thank you very much, Ajit, for hosting us today.
Thank you, Alicia. It's my pleasure.
So in the next few minutes, we're going to be touching base on different topics. So if I may start by looking at the region, we've seen that it has been a very exciting year for this part of the world when it comes to the equity capital markets. However, some uncertain times are approaching when it comes to the international capital markets. You name it, inflation, interest rates, supply chain shocks. So how do you think local IROs can address these international macroeconomic trends?
Yeah, Alicia, thank you for the question. I think it's a great question. Look, I mean, the regional capital markets here has had the first best half of a year ever, right? And I think the primary market in particular, i.e. the IPO market, have raised close to about $15 billion. And that is at a time when the global capital markets are going through extreme volatility for the same reasons you just mentioned. And I think the appeal of this region is not just limited to primary market, I mean, which is underpinned by the sort of state-owned privatization efforts, which is great, but also the private sector participation, which we cannot discount. Now, if you look at it through an IR lens, to me, the opportunity lies in two areas, right? It is a great opportunity for you to remain proactive, whilst engaging with your buy side and sell side audiences. But also, it's a great opportunity to maybe improve your shareholder profile. What are the best ways to, engage with long-term buy side strategic investors? And I think those are some of the opportunities one should think of amidst this opportunity that is in front of you.
Absolutely, Ajit. And I think talking about important topics, of course, we cannot ignore ESG. It's no longer a nice thing to have, it's something imperative to any business actually across the globe. However, as ESG reporting increases and more companies are embracing this journey, so does the concerns from the investment community when it comes to greenwashing. So how do you think companies can build and create a genuine ESG framework and ESG reporting communication strategy?
Yeah, Alicia, ESG is fundamentally important, right? And if you look at the sort of global assets under management, roughly about 1/3 of the total assets under AUM is subject to some form of ESG screening. Now that itself tells you ESG is important. And ESG is not just important from a perspective of improving access to capital, right? It is essentially a tool for stakeholder capitalism. So it is not just concerning to investors, but it's the wider stakeholder community. Now, a company looking at ESG through the lens of purpose, through the lens of stakeholder centricity, it is much more than a financing tool or a tool to complement your financing reporting and disclosure. So I think if companies subscribe to this philosophy and treat ESG as a tool for stakeholder capitalism, I think that's where companies would get it right.
So Ajit, you mentioned before the buy, the sell side, you mentioned how we are seeing more IPOs coming into the market. So of course the competition for attention is increasing. So how can companies proactively engage and create engaging communication strategies when it comes to the investment community, both the buy and the sell side?
Look, I think when the times are tough, you need to engage proactively with your sell side and buy side, and I think companies need to be on the road. Investors are again meeting companies physically, organize capital market days. So I think the sort of the after 2 years of lockdowns, I think there is a slight energy to do physical meetings, which is great news for companies and also investors. And I think the timing is also right to relook at your business strategy, what has changed in the light of high interest rate environment, inflation, and muted economic growth globally, and forward guidance, right? So what should change? And I think that should price in quite heavily on your business strategy as well as IR engagement strategy. I think to me, I think this is a perfect time to do that exercise. And also, when is the last time have you spoken to your top 20 buy-side investors and your top 10 or 5 sell-side analysts? I think a perception audit, comprehensive study, will actually give you direction as to what should change within your IR engagement strategy. So to me, I think those are some of the opportunities that I would encourage IROs to look at.
Definitely agree with that, Ajit. And now if we look at some exciting things that are ahead of us, it's definitely the MEIRA annual conference, which this year we are very grateful, and it's a pleasure to have FTI Consulting as our co-sponsor. So as we all know, this year for the first time the conference is going to happen in Riyadh on the 24th of October. So what can we expect from the conference this year? What do you think are going to be the key drivers for the event?
Alicia, I think it's great that for the first time this annual IR conference is taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, which is a reflection of the importance of Saudi capital markets to this region. And I think if I look at the sort of evolution of capital markets and as an extension investor relations function in the kingdom, it has come a long way. I think particularly the CMA, Saudi Exchange, and the Saudi chapter for MEIRA have done a tremendous job in advocating the need for best practice investor relations function. And it is great to see all the developments that have happened in the kingdom. And I think the MEIRA annual conference is a great platform for dialogues, exchange ideas and knowledge in the evolving sector of investor relations. And I think the timing is perfect for this year for it to take place in the kingdom. Absolutely. And FTI is a proud sponsor of this year's events, and we are all really looking forward to it.
Absolutely, Ajit, not to be missed for sure. And an important part of the conference as well is the awards ceremony. We always say that at the end of the day, the conference, the event is just an IR celebration. And we are very grateful to have you and your team to be part this year of the judging panels that will be assessing the best IR reporting awards. So what would you say to those members, issuers, companies that are still a little bit hesitant when it comes to participate in the submission and take part in the awards?
The annual IR awards has in many ways become a gold standard for IR reporting and communications. It is important for companies to participate in this exercise. And regardless of whether you win or not, it is a great exercise to learn, share feedback, and understand, and ultimately improve your IR communications. And I think to me it is a fantastic platform for every issuer in this region to participate and vie for that recognition, which is great.
Thank you very much for that, Ajit. It has been a real pleasure to speak with you today.
Thank you, Alicia, and the wonderful MEIRA organization and the wider community.
And of course, we wouldn't like to conclude this interview without encouraging you all to visit the MEIRA conference website, to register, to sign up, and to see you all there on the 24th of October in Riyadh for the MEIRA annual conference and awards. Thank you very much.
Thank you.